Hello and happy Wednesday. Today is actually a special episode. It is my birthday. So I thought it would be fun to do a special birthday episode. So today on the podcast, we are welcoming my boyfriend, Josh. We've been dating for 2.5 years, and I thought it'd be really fun to talk about the behind the scenes of what it's like to be a wedding vendor, specifically a wedding photographer, things that he's learned in dating me and just kind of like seeing everything play out, and have a little bit more of a personal episode too, with what it's like to be a wedding photographer, and also tell the story of how we met, which was at a wedding that I was photographing. So I won't tell too much more before the episode starts. Let's get into it.
Hello and welcome to the Busy Bride Podcast. I'm your host, Gabriella Marie, and I created this podcast to help you research vendors and learn valuable advice as you plan the most special and true to you wedding day of your dreams. Let's get started.
Hello, Josh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It is an absolute pleasure to be on the podcast.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm so excited for this. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you about your experience, like dating me as a wedding photographer, because it's a weird job to have.
Can't wait. Let's get into it.
Sweet. So I figured we'd start by telling the story of how we met. We've been dating for 2.5 years now, and we met at a wedding while I was the photographer. Um, do you want to tell your side of it, or do you want me to go into it?
You can go into it, and then I could just piggyback off of your experience or your side of it.
Okay, so I photographed Josh's sister's wedding, Melissa, and it was less than a year into my career, so still pretty new to it. And this was the first wedding with a wedding party because I started it in 2020, and the weddings I started photographing were micro weddings. So they were in backyards, they were just super intimate, no wedding parties. And Melissa's wedding was the first one, the wedding party, so with groomsmen and bridesmaids. So I was really excited about it. And my first words to Josh ever were "get out," because we were about to do the first look. We were about to do the first look, and I couldn't find the groom, and the bride was all ready, and we were trying to get everybody out of the way, like so that they have a private space to do the first look. And I opened the door, and Josh is standing there, and I hadn't met him yet, and I was like, "Get out! Like I need the groom. Go away. What are you doing?" First look time. And it was, it wasn't mean, I don't think. Was it?
No, it was just like, I need to do my job. Get out of here.
Yeah. In the nicest way possible, I said,
Yeah,
please leave.
yeah. You always say things in the nicest way possible. So
Thanks so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so after that, during wedding party photos, I was having you guys do some like really fun prompts, poses and stuff, and you jumped on the groom's back, like piggyback style, for one of like the fun pictures.
I sure did.
Which was that fun for you? Like those pictures?
Oh yeah, I love those photos. Yeah, I feel like that was your idea though. No, like you were like, let's do something fun, and then you suggested somebody jump on the groom's back, and I was like, yeah, why not?
I love that so much. I'm glad you did too, because the photo is still like one of my favorite wedding party photos.
Yeah, it's a great photo.
Yeah, so that was really fun. But then, so we were getting ready to go to the ceremony after wedding party photos, and I think I must have overheard you telling the best man that you left your fanny pack full of rose petals.
I think
hotel.
I was telling Larry. It was for sure Larry.
Okay, so more context, you were the flower man.
Yes. Oh, got to throw that part in.
Have to. That's more context. And it was like a trend at that time to do something other than a flower girl. And for flower men, it was like very dramatic and comical and just like a very fun twist on the whole flower girl thing. So that's why Josh was the flower man. And you had your rose petals in a fanny pack, and you left at the hotel, and I overheard that. And for some reason, to this day, still do not know why I did this, but I was like, you should just come with me and I'll drive you back to the hotel so you can get your fanny pack full of rose petals before the ceremony and everybody else could just go to the ceremony.
Yeah,
That sounds like a great idea.
what a wild move by you to do. Just a
Insane. Like,
strange man asking him to come back in the car with you.
it's
Crazy.
like not safe. Yes. And
Very
I
very
would
much
never
so not safe.
I would never do that now. And I never would have, like, it's just so out of character for me to do that. So that was weird that happened. Um, and the funniest part was, I didn't realize, I knew that the hotel and the venue were pretty close. And the reason why I had originally asked you, I think, was because everybody in the wedding party was like a little tipsy, getting ready for the ceremony. And I thought that if everybody had to go back to the hotel, since you're all in like this van shuttle thing, then people would want to go to the bathroom. They'd want to get more beer. They'd realize they forgot some other. It would just take so long.
It
So
definitely
that's
would
why
have went down like that. So that's fair.
yeah. So I guess logistics, but also still just a wild move.
Yeah.
So everybody went to the venue. What I didn't realize, the hotel and the venue next, like across the street from each other. They're like,
Literally across the street.
and I knew they were close, but I didn't know they were that close. And so it was just really funny then that I still took you separately to get your fanny pack.
Bananas.
Yes, and we
But
just
I
kind of
mean,
hit it off in the car.
it worked out pretty well, I feel like.
Yeah, it worked out. We got the fanny pack. I gave you my camera to hold in the car like a baby.
I held that thing like my newborn child.
Yes, you did, and I was very grateful for that. Yeah, and we just kind of hit off a conversation in the car. Nothing like crazy, just like small talk.
I think the thing that stood out to me the most was you were like, I took photos at Georgia football games, and I'm a massive sports fanatic, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. And then we kind of just hit it off from there. And also we had like similar like hometown stories. Like your dad was from Wilkes-Barre and I was from Scranton, so that was similar and cool to hear.
A connection point.
Connection point, yes.
Yeah, that I do remember that too. Yeah, it was a nice conversation. And then like,
but yeah, it was.
Go ahead.
It was very easy flowing, and it was like we knew each other for years.
Yes, I would agree with that. Super duper easy conversation. But then like the rest of the wedding, like nothing crazy. Like you after family photos, you have a different experience?
I was definitely eyeing you up. Like I was like trying to find out where you were and making sure you didn't leave or when, like trying to find out when you were leaving. I know that I think I asked you that question.
Yeah, I knew you were maybe into me because you asked me when I was leaving. Also, after family photos, walking back to the venue, you walked next to me.
I did.
And we chit-chatted. And then
that's when I asked you when you were leaving.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes when I was just taking candids, like during cocktail or dinner or something, I would, pan my camera across the room and then I'd find you and you were looking in my direction.
I was always, eyes were always on the camera.
Yes, which was really funny. So that's when I knew. I thought you would walk me back to my car when I left because when it was time to go, I told Melissa and Johnny, okay, it's time. Like I'm gonna leave soon, so I got my bag, and then they were outside ready to say goodbye to me, along with Larry, the best man, and you. And so I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna walk me in my car. Like this is so sweet. And then you didn't.
I didn't. You're right. But
I was like, what the heck?
I was talking about that moment for like the entire day. I was like, should I like ask her for a number? Like I was asking everybody, and they were like, just do it. Like worst case, you'll never see this girl again in your life. Why not?
That's true.
But yeah, so it all came up to that moment of you walking to your car.
And you didn't walk me there, and I was so sad. But I was just like, oh, whatever. Like, that's fine. And I'm starting to pack up my car. And then I hear footsteps. And I like kind of peek around the side of my car, and you are like sprinting, beelining it to me with like 2 beers in one hand and your phone in the other. Yeah, I think he said something like, can I please have your number? Like my sister would kill me if I didn't get your number. Can I please have your number?
I think exact words were like, hey, that least guys would kill me if I didn't at least ask you for your number. And then I don't even think I gave you the opportunity to say yes or no. I just handed you my phone.
Even worse, you handed me your phone and it was like the phone call screen, like with the keypad. So I put my
I
phone
made you
number
call me.
and you pressed call
Yeah,
instead of just like saving it to
I got
make
it.
sure I gave you the right
You
number.
have to make sure it's the right number. Yeah, that's a good move right there.
Did you do that on purpose, or was it just like nerves?
Probably a little bit of both, I would say. Probably more nerves than anything. Like, and also just making sure that you gave me the right number.
That's hilarious. Very smart moves. But it worked.
It
And then
did.
you texted me like on my drive home. You sent me a text, and it was some sort of pickup line. But it well, I can't believe I'm
It
the first groomsman to ask for your number.
yeah, it was something like that.
And I screamed. I was on the phone with my friend. And that night you asked me out to dinner.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. So that is the beginning stories, how it all started. But now that you know me, you see the whole different side of the wedding photographer world. If you could describe dating a wedding photographer in one word, what would it be?
I would probably say chaotic is a good word to describe it.
Like always, I know fall busy seasons are chaotic, absolutely. But like the whole year?
For the most part, I feel like there's always something going on, or there's always something that you need to update. Or now it's the podcast that's going on, so you got to get into that. Or there's the website, you got to update the website. There's edits. There's always edits.
There's always edits.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's always something to do. I think that's more like running your own business.
yeah, I would agree with that.
And it's all up to me. Like I don't have employees. I can't I have, people who are helping me, like contractors and stuff, but no full-time employees who I can just be like, "Okay, this is your job and you focus on this all the time." So, it's just me. And I always want to improve and grow, so there's just always things to do.
Of course.
Always things to do. And it also kind of sucks that I work weekends because you work, a quote unquote normal job, and
A
you
nine to
work during the
fiver,
week,
yeah.
and yeah, and you're off on evenings and you're off on the weekends. And I'm at my desk working 9 to 5 usually. So, like, similar hours to you, but then my photo shoots and weddings are on the weekends and they're in the evenings. So, I have lots of extra work time that is your free time, which kind of sucks,
Yeah,
especially
I
when
would
we're
agree with
doing
that. I think
distance.
yeah, the distance was tough. I think that was
Yeah,
the hardest part, especially when you were working weekends and we couldn't really find time during the week to travel, or it just didn't make sense.
right. But we make it work.
We
Obviously, 2.5
yes,
years.
yeah.
Well, how would you say we manage that? Like, because my job is very unconventional with the schedule. Like, what do we do to make it work, do you think?
I think we just kind of find like times to do the little things, or like cooking during the week. We do things like that, or like we do monthly dates. Um, when we weren't living together, it was definitely like the midweek dates where we would just meet halfway and go for ice cream or something like that, or like go sit at a park, or those little things.
Yeah, we would each drive halfway, like an hour, to Bethlehem, and in the middle of the week, just go on a date on a weekday evening somewhere random.
Looking
I
back at
loved
that,
those.
I was literally just gonna say, looking back at those dates, those are some of my favorite like memories of dates we've had,
Me too.
because
I was so excited to see
they're
you.
just so much fun, so like spontaneous. And
Yes, some things we wouldn't normally do now that we are living together.
yeah,
Um, we wouldn't go out of our way to, like, I don't know,
go
go
to
to
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
exactly.
it's an hour away.
Yeah, exactly.
I do love those.
Shout out Bethlehem though. There's so many cool places there.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's where I was born. So extra shout out there. Yeah, well, I love those times. But yeah, I do think we're really good at making the little things feel special and connect well over those little times. Um, yeah, I think
Also,
that's the best
our
answer.
nightly walks with Lenny now is a very good bonding time.
Yes, for all who don't know, Lenny is our golden doodle.
I so much look forward to those.
Yeah. So we kind of take turns taking him out throughout the day based on work schedules and stuff. But then at night, his last time to go outside before bed, we go together and there's no phones and we just enjoy each other's presence and we enjoy Lenny's joy at the dog park as he just
Goes
does
bananas.
zoomies, circles and circles. I love those times so much. Yeah, so just any
Just
sort of small
finding,
connection
yeah,
we have.
finding the little moments in the day where we have time for each other.
Yes, totally.
That's my short answer.
The short answer. Okay, so what was something that surprised you about my job now that you know me well? Like, when you first met me, I was a wedding photographer. Everybody has some sort of idea of photographers in their mind. What, now that you are like very well versed with the behind the scenes, is there anything about the job that's surprising to you?
How much work it is, how much time you put into it. Like, I feel like nobody really knows how much work and time goes into what you do because they don't see it, right?
Yeah, like I work.
They know you work hard, obviously, but it's all like little things, or the nights you're up till 10 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night shooting reels or doing things like that.
Yes, especially during busy season, like work can just kind of like fall behind. Um, but there's a lot that goes into it. Like I said, like I work a full job, like, you know, 9 to 5 pretty much during the week, plus the photo shoots. So there's a lot of extra time and like when I
And
get
it's
home from
not
weddings.
it's not always a 9 to 5 either. Like, you say 9 to 5, but it's like there's many times where you work past 5 o'clock.
Yes, I would say, and most days, and I need to
Yeah.
get better at that. That is
Which
part of
is
my
not a
goal
bad
for
thing.
this
Like, I'm
year.
not saying that's a bad thing. You love your job and you love what you do, so it's obvious you're going to put the time in to better the business.
That's true. Yes, but I do need to be better about boundaries and making sure I have enough time off in the evenings during slow seasons or during days when I don't have photo shoots, so I can like fully rest and recharge. But
That's
yeah,
fair.
lots of work, lots that goes into it. Many hats to wear. Okay, what's your favorite part about my job?
Um, how much you love it, how passionate you are about it, how passionate you are about your couples, and like the excitement I see in your face when you take a good photo and you have to edit that or you get a new inquiry. Just the passion you show in your business is incredible. It's amazing to see.
Thanks so much.
It's
I
just
feel like
it's the
I'm
truth.
a
That's the truth. Yeah,
cheerleader.
right. But
Oh
no,
my gosh.
you
Okay.
don't see that. Like, I mean, outside of you, I don't know anybody that owns their own business, right? So I don't. Most people go to work and they're like, it's just work. It's another day. But seeing somebody who loves their job and loves what they do, it's really cool to see. And then also being able to see your business grow from like kind of when you started to where you are now, it's incredible. All the
Yeah, you
time
got to
and
see
all
the
the hard work
growth.
you've put in.
Yeah, that must have been really cool for you to,
It's very cool.
because I'm in the middle of it, so like I don't really pause to take a step back and look at it. But I've been in business for almost 3.5 years now, and you saw me before my first full year, so you really have been with me from the beginning.
Yeah, it's cool to see.
That's awesome. Oh, yay! I do love my job so much. And I feel very grateful that I can say that I love my job because it's rare, I feel like, to love what you do so much. Um, and like it is a lot of hard work and late nights and time away on the weekends. So there are lots of sacrifices, but I am just so happy that I get to do this full time and then I get to meet so many people and consistently get better and always be growing. Like I'm very very grateful that this is the path I'm on. And I'm
Agreed.
very grateful that you're with me.
You were made to do this. I truly believe that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm getting flustered, so I'm going to move on Do you have a least favorite part of my job? Is there anything that you don't
Hmm.
love?
Um, I feel like the it kind of goes hand in hand with the late nights and the weekends that you work, but that's part of the gig, so it is what it is, right? So I wouldn't say that's my least favorite part, but if I had to pick something, that would probably be it.
That makes sense. I would also not be over the moon if you were always away working during free time
Exactly.
that I would want to spend with you. So that makes sense.
But I
Um,
also get it in a sense where you got to build a business, you got to be on all the time, pretty much. So I totally get where you're coming from when you have to do that.
and you're always supportive too. Like you are so supportive, which I think helps a lot in growing a business too. Like in your actions, like how you're always okay with me taking on work as long as I feel comfortable with it. Um, before weddings, like when I'm getting ready for the day, you always pack my lunch, which is very much appreciated, and you always throw in extra snacks and
Best
treats.
lunch, yeah. Your lunches are always the best when I make them. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're always amazing. And also like in your words, like you're always just affirming me and encouraging me and telling me that I'm good at what I do. I think you say much better words than good. And you always love looking at my pictures that I'm excited about. So like having your support behind the scenes gives me the extra push to keep going when it gets tough with those late nights and extra work.
I appreciate those words.
Well, I appreciate your words.
I'm your biggest fan, number one.
Yes, tied with my dad.
Fair.
You both tell me that you're my number one fan, so you're you're both tied for first.
That's fair. I'll accept
Okay,
that tie.
you know, great place to be.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot.
Not a bad spot. Okay, so something I was curious about. What's something that you wish my clients would know about, like the behind the scenes process of being a wedding photographer?
Probably just the work that you put in, like all the time it takes to edit photos and edit out cans in the back or that type of stuff. How much time you put in to do
Yes.
that? Because
Yes.
it takes a lot of time.
It does. It takes a lot of time. And you hear about all of it too.
I do. I do.
You hear about all of it. Is there a story that sticks out to you that is like extra funny or just like I don't know? Because I tell you so many stories of like, oh my gosh, we had this session and we did this and I loved this so much and can you believe that he did this for the proposal, blah blah blah.
Yeah, there's honestly so many. I think we would have to go on for days about on the podcast, but none that really stick out in my head at the moment. But that would be a fun podcast to just talk about stories that I hear at the dinner table
That
from
would
your
be a fun
sessions.
podcast. We'll do that next time we do a special episode. That'll be the topic. We'll just go over like fun stories from the
Love
job.
that.
Amazing. Okay, last question. Typically, the last question of this podcast, since it's geared towards brides and couples getting married, is what's your advice for a bride planning their wedding? But you're not a bride, you're not getting married yet.
Wink,
Um,
wink, wink.
wink, wink. So I thought this question would be nice. What's one piece of relationship advice you have for somebody who is dating, like their partner is in an unconventional job, kind of like mine, where it's like weekends, evenings, weird hours? What's your relationship advice for that type of relationship?
To be super supportive and encourage them to do what they want to do, and also find the little times in the day where you can spend time with each other, whether it's taking your dog for a walk at night or having lunch together. Just find that time and also just be supportive.
I love those answers. It makes such a big difference. It really does. Having the support constantly, like every day. Like, there's not a day that goes by that I don't feel supported and encouraged. And a job like an unconventional job can be lonely because typically a lot of your friends are working normal hours, and if they're all doing something on a Saturday and you have to work, that sucks. Or like you have free time on a Tuesday afternoon but nobody else is free because they're all working, and then by the time Tuesday night comes you're busy, so it can feel a little bit lonely at times. So it is very helpful to feel that support constantly. And then yeah, the little things are, I cherish those. Those are big to me.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being on the show, Josh.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
That was so much fun. I love talking to Josh about all of his experience with dating me as a wedding photographer, because I feel like that's just not like everyday conversation. So it was cool to really hear his perspective and talk about those things. And he made me blush a lot, but he's such a sweetheart, and it's been great dating him so far, if you can't tell. So that was amazing for me, and I hope you also loved it and enjoyed the little deviation from the normally scheduled programming. So if you loved this episode, if it was something different that you enjoyed, I would still love if you would share it. Share it to your Instagram story. Share it to anybody who might enjoy it as well. When you share it to Instagram story, you can tag me at Gabrielle Marie Audi, Gabrielle with 2 L's, Audi like the car, and give this podcast a 5-star rating and review. That would be amazing, and it would really help get this podcast out to people who would enjoy it. So thanks a bunch for tuning in, especially for this special episode. I appreciate your time. Now go hug your person. I'll see you next Wednesday.